I created a commercial for Scalehouse Media in 16 hours. Hey, this is Alex Bullock. I'm a co-founder of an app called Worker Efficiency, and I am a producer and content lead at Scalehouse Media. Something crazy happened. VO3, which is a AI video generation model, was announced 2-3 days ago. Okay. In my mind, AI has been, I love AI. It's helped me do so much, but AI video generation in particular hasn't been very good. And you could always tell, and it hasn't had a ton of use. Yes, it's going in the right direction, but it wasn't until VO3 came out that I really deep dived into it to see if I can actually use it for marketing purposes. I have used all of these other AI platforms to create videos, and I have used AI generated video in commercials and stuff, but this is the first time where I am truly blown away, right? So I created a commercial for Scalehouse Media in 16 hours. And when I say that, I'm saying that in particular so you understand that this isn't what everyone is saying. It's like, oh, I made a commercial in 30 minutes. Yes, you can do that, but it's going to look really shizzy, right? This is making and generating video content that is well curated, well prompted to help build and create a story to help sell something, right? And that is what we did. So let me run you through this, okay? Well, first, let's just watch the video because it's pretty freaking crazy. And then I'll walk you through how we made it, okay? Ready for this?
You're not paying for results. You're paying for the circus.
Bloated retainers, no performance, zero accountability.
Most agencies put on a show, but behind the curtain, confusion, guesswork, and a guy juggling KPIs.
Scalehouse Media is different. We fuse content and ad buying and found the missing step in most strategies.
Over $500 million in tracked sales says we're onto something.
If you're spending $8,000 a month and still guessing, maybe it's time to leave the circus and join Scalehouse.
Come on. What? Okay. I think if you stopped and paused it, or if you were just scrolling and you saw that ad, you'd be like, oh, wow, this is a cool ad, right? And it wouldn't be until you started really, really looking at finer details that you're like, oh, I think that's AI. You tell me in the comments, though. I could be totally throwing that out there, but this is some of the best generations that I've ever seen. And not only that, it is generating audio, voiceovers, sound effects, music. Okay, a lot of this is added on that I added into it, but let's walk you through my process. Okay, so first, I created an account in Google VO Flow. Okay, it's like $250 a month, but as someone who's produced commercials that range from $1 million down to a couple $1,000s, $250 a month to curate that commercial is insanity. Literally, this is crazy. It's not perfect, but it's really good. Okay, so you create an account, but then you need to prompt, and prompting in and of itself is hard. You could just go in and throw in something simple, but it's not going to do what you need it to do. And so I've been prompting quite a while, and so I have some templates that I work off of, but let's start with this one right here. Okay, so important. I wanted there to be no subtitles. Every time I started generating, there were subtitles, and it drove me nuts. Okay, but I first outlined this technical specifications. Okay, my tone is surreal, satirical, visually abstract. The camera shot on an Arri Alexa Mini. Aspect ratio was 1:1. It didn't do that, but that's okay. Color grading, Wes Anderson style with rich pastels, high color saturation, symmetrical composition, and strong yellow, teal, red color palette. Sound, spacious, empty room, clear dialogue without background distractions, text display, none, no subtitles, no captions, no on-screen text whatsoever. Google VO, stop putting subtitles on your video, even though I've asked it a million times to do that, okay? It's going to do it sometimes, and I don't know why they do this, but there's some ways around it. Okay, so my first shot is I need camera positioned at a 45-degree angle, looking down at a circus ring. Center of ring features ring master, handsome black man in forest green suit, speaking to camera while walking casually. Around him are frozen videographers, marketers, and branding experts in ridiculous costumes, positioned like attention-seeking statues. Dialogue. No speaking, or sorry, no spoken only, no text display. Google, stop putting subtitles in. This is the only way. I had to keep reinforcing no subtitles for it to not put subtitles, which just drove me nuts. Okay. You're not paying for results. You're paying for the circus. Close-up shot. Focus on the statues. Frozen videographer in screaming pose to the side of the main character. The statue begins to melt. Shallow depth of field with ringmaster visible and background walking by subtly. Everything around Ringmaster slowly melts like wax. Ringmaster stops, hands in pockets, looks around at melting scene. He shrugs as if it's unsurprised and addresses camera directly and speaks. Dialogue. Spoken only, no text display. Bloated retainers, endless edits, zero accountability, no performance. Okay, that's a lot to prompt, right? That's not, you don't just wing this. But that is how you get generations like this, okay? So when I first went in to Google Flow, I copied and pasted my prompt. It gave me this, which is amazing in and of itself. And I thought, holy crap, but there was no audio. I was like, well, why is it not showing audio? So by default, if you come down here and you type something in, these settings right here, output, I always had 2 quality. You have to put it to VO3 highest quality experimental audio to get it on VO3 highest quality to get audio to come through. Okay. I'm going to close this because it's a little bright. Okay. Now that we got that. Okay. So that was my first mistake. Wasted probably 150 credits on those. And that was kind of the thing I wasted a lot of credits on because I kept forgetting to switch it to VO3. So then I started testing out further, kind of refining it.
Bloated retainers, endless edits, zero accountability, no performance. You're not paying.
So good, right? Okay, and then I started refining my prompts even more to get it to this.
Endless edits, zero accountability, no performance.
One of the things that was struggles with Flow is character matching. You can't upload references. You're kind of just working off of what you have. And anytime you switch the text to video generation from frames to video or ingredients to video, it gets rid of audio. And the audio is what made this. Like this, with audio generation and being able to tell and create a character in AI and then having that character speak is insane. I've not seen a generation platform do that. And that's why it was hard. So there's a lot of workarounds. It's not perfect, but it gets you really, really far. So anyways, I had to switch my idea up to have multiple characters speaking multiple lines. Anyways, after a lot of refinement, I finally came to this generation. No, not that one. That one was terrible. Okay, I got this one.
You're not paying for results. You're paying for the circus.
And I loved it. I thought it's awesome. Anyways, so that was my first frame. Downloaded it, threw it into Premiere. Okay, then I started having to build out all of my other scenes. And every time I was building out a scene, I'd come into my Word doc, copy and paste my technical specifications, and then building out my scene sequence, right? Copying and pasting the scene sequence. And you can see I have 15 pages of technical specifications I have created for this one ad. And so from here, I started creating all these generations. I started to kind of hone it in on exactly what I want. And you start out with 12,500. With all of my generation credits for this one video, it took me from 12,500 credits to 5,800 credits. So it took me about 8 hours of prompting to get and build the video sequence that I wanted here. It was a lot of trial error. Sometimes you'd get like 90%, then you're like, oh, it's perfect. And then there's like one little AI blurb or shift that ruined everything. And then you have to try and regenerate and hopefully get it to where it needed to be. So yes, dozens and dozens and dozens of generations. So after I generated everything, I came into Premiere Pro, dropped everything in my timeline, and had my story from beginning to end. And it was great. I loved it. But this is where most people fail at creating good AI content or commercials. Okay. They just one and done. And that's not how it is. And this is why a lot of people are freaking out about how AI is going to take over their jobs. Okay, it might take over a lot of people's jobs, but it won't take your job if you can learn to prompt, create, edit like this. Okay. So after dropping in my footage, I then went through and started adding sound effects. I started adding visual effects. I started editing the footage myself in a lot of ways. And I'll show you that right here. So you can see I've dropped in music. I've dropped in sound effects right here.
Performance. Zero accountability.
The melting sounds, all that is all added in. The music is two different tracks that I've layered over each other. I've layered the footage in a way to help tell my story a little bit better. And then this is where I introduced our content, right? AI generation is great, but I'm selling Scalehouse Media. And the AI generated video footage is only a means to tell a story to help introduce what we do, which is content creation and ad buying, right? And so this is where you get like that turn of events is most marketing agencies are a circus, and they genuinely are. A lot of unknown people guessing on trying to create content that I think it might sell. And there's not a ton of strategy in these ad agencies, which is kind of insane if you think about it. Not too many people really focus on strategy when it comes to creating content. They just think of cool ideas. Oh, this is great. And they go and make it, and then it sucks in their performance. And so you got to find a balance.
Work and a guy juggling KPIs.
Okay. So this is where you start adding in your own stuff. You get sound effects. You get the scratch break with the DJ right here. And then I took this scene that has this cool ripping of the tent open, and I went into After Effects, and within After Effects, I animated these houses to come through, our Scalehouse Media 3D example, and then animated in the Scalehouse logo there. So it's taking this AI footage and pushing it the extra step to curate it to you.
Media is different.
And then here, there were some glitches with the AI. So it's like, how do you work around it? And so I added this animation effect right here.
Use content and ad buying and found the missing step in most strategies.
Okay. Also, excuse me. The audio kind of went really AI on me. So it's like, how do you take a little bit of the AI, like, yeah, that's definitely AI, and tweak it? Well, I just put some sound effects on his voice to kind of give it an echo right here,
Most strategies.
to kind of hide some of the imperfections in his voice.
Missing step in most strategies.
And then boom, we go to the real life stuff. This is our content. These are our videos we've curated, content we've created for brands, and all strategy based within our ad bike. So again, at Scalehouse Media, we really focus on a content and ad buying strategy working together rather than separate pieces. And we go into our shenanigans, just our portfolio right here. Okay, boom. this is another scene. The original scene was just this girl, and there was no text back here. So I was like, oh, okay, how can I take this, make it a little bit more dynamic? So in After Effects, I rotoscoped her out and then added in our over 500 million in tracked sales, which we've managed millions and millions of dollars of ad spend for brands. And we have seen over $500 million in tracked sales for a lot of these brands, which is insane, right?
Over $500 million.
So she also had this kind of AI tweaked in her voice. I was like, man, we need to fix that, because you don't want it to come across as super AI, right?
Over $500 million.
So I added this like echo sound effect to kind of build in this like, oh, it was on purpose, right? To kind of hide that a little bit.
Track sales says we're on to something.
If you're spending
And then added a transition effect here to make the video a little bit more dynamic, not just cut and dry.
Says we're on to something.
if you're spending $8,000 a month and still guessing, maybe it's time to leave the circus and join Scalehouse.
And then I added our closing, make more money with Scalehouse, scalehousemedia.com. But all of these videos are all generated, or most of these videos are all generated in Google Flow VO3. This is the closest we've ever been to making video and content creation so easy for everyone. There is still a huge learning a barrier to learning how to prompt correctly to get it to what you want it to do. I mean, this is tons of trial and error, adjusting my prompts like crazy. I mean, again, 15 pages of prompt generation, and I'm making adjustments, tone, dialogue, style, making sure that I'm getting consistent color correction in all of these. Trying to make adjustments with the script, right? Trial and error. AI video generation, content creation. It's not going to get rid of creators. It's just going to turn creators into prompt engineers who can actually help you make what you want. And with Google VO3, whew, the sky is the limit. It is literally the limit now. And we're already concepting ideas for other brands. So that is my VO3 walkthrough of how I made this commercial. Enjoy.
You're not paying for results. You're paying for the circus.
Bloated retainers, no performance, zero accountability.
Most agencies put on a show, but behind the curtain, confusion, guesswork, and a guy juggling KPIs.
Scalehouse Media is different. We fuse content and ad buying and found the missing step in most strategies.
Is that transition just not fiddle your sticks? It just fiddled mine.
Over $500 million in tracked sales says we're on to something.
If you're spending $8,000 a month and still guessing, maybe it's time to leave the circus and join Scalehouse.
Makes me so excited. Anyways, animation's gonna get crazy with this stuff too, but go try it, or just hire us and we'll do it for you. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Google VO3, AI generated commercials, insane, and we're good at it. So come hire us.